networking
This
is different entity.
conference will now be recorded.
Right, thank you. So CS is a different entity, and networking is the baseline and foundation for all the entities, right? So without having the, for example, if you want to work on the Kali Linux, right? So what is the, since you are the cybersecurity, what is the things you're going to do it? You want to figure out the loopholes, right? You have to find out the loops in the network. Without knowing the knowledge in the network, how will you find out the loopholes? One thing I will say, if you want to catch a thief, you have to think like a thief,
Yeah, correct.
right? You are the person who will be finding the loopholes in the organization. So if you want to find the loopholes, you want to know the technology, I mean the network foundation baselines at least. I think I won't suggest you to learn the BGP advanced stuff, but at least you want to know how the protocols will work, how the switching will work, and maybe someone is trying to attack your system and network, right? You need to understand what, in which layer it is they are attacking, whether they are attacking the application layer or network layer or physical layer or firewalls. On basis of that, you have to take the actions accordingly. So maybe you are very new to the organization, maybe you don't have any level of levels, but once you gain the experience, definitely CCNA, Linux, cloud should be part of your entire cybersecurity.
Okay.
Right.
So one request, can we cover more topics in one session so that we can complete with the CCNA sooner and switch on to CH?
For you,
If other members are okay with that.
I think still right, routing part, I think I'm switching. So what I'll do for you, right, 2 weeks, right? I think next weekend also I'm going to cover the couple of topics. Practicals I'm going to do with later with Srinivas and Rajshekhar, but I'll try to complete with by this weekend, next weekend. Within 2 weeks, I'm going to complete your networking basic, at least basics.
Yeah, no, I'm not into hurry basically. Even still now also I'm already into security testing. That's not an issue. So just asking update, like if we cover more topics in one session, right? So that we'll be sooner completing with us sessions.
Yes, why I'm telling that, if you see, if I can cover all the CCNA course within 2 days, including everything I can cover within 2 days, but it's very difficult for you to grab all the technologies at a similar time, right? So that is the reason, even though actually my course has to complete within 30 days, but I used to give the trainings to the students for it will take more than 45 days, or 45 hours or 30 hours, more than 30 hours. Because of this, because I will slowly push them into the brain very slowly, and I'll make them very expert in the particular domain. So that is the reason. But if you want to know urgent, definitely, yeah, I can do it. Probably next weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I'll sit for 2 hours, 3 hours, and we can complete your basics, understanding and networking. Then we can start your actual what is that CH. Clear?
Yeah.
So I think Rajshekhar, you are enrolled for CH or for networking?
Sir, I finished my CH here.
You completed CH.
Yeah.
So you want to
I'm
learn
doing.
the networking scratching, right?
Yeah.
Complete including lab, or you also looking very fast the course.
Actually, I can take fast track, but the thing is, like, since it's Saturday, Sunday, you start at 2 means it will be good because sometimes I'll be having job at 5.
Okay. So what about Srinivas? Okay, let's do one thing. Since you guys are enrolled for basics networking, yeah, definitely I don't want to go into advanced level. Let's give me 2 weeks, so I'll cover all the stuff. So I thought you guys are enrolled for complete advanced level of networking, CCNA. So that is the reason, just going very deep into the particular point. But fine.
So we can go that also. So I don't have any issues in that.
No, guys, commit one thing. If you want to go very deep into that, I'm okay. but I would request some time, right? As I
You
said,
told
at least
60
3 to
hours,
4
so
weeks.
I'm fine with it.
Sorry.
At the beginning you told 60 hours, right? So I'm ready for that.
Right. Initially, I told, right, I wanted to teach you the Python as well. So I think I given
Yeah.
the commitment for you automation part, right?
Yeah,
So within two
Sandeep,
weeks,
sorry
it's
to interrupt. No, no, not that's not the matter. Like completing two first. Like, is it possible to take up the sessions parallelly so that if you complete us with the basics, right? So that we can take up a CH parallelly, and meanwhile we can even go through this CCNA
Uh,
practicals and whatever the topics you have planned for. Is it
One thing,
possible?
like, it's totally like it's little bit different. So you can take parallelly. You have to ask the management about that. So in weekdays, you
Yes,
can,
yes, that could help me actually. Mm-hmm.
yeah, in weekends you can do CCNA, and weekdays you can do CH.
CH. Right.
It does cover everything. So I did
Right.
my CH, right. So this doesn't affect, like, they also tell basics from that type of like vulnerabilities, those parameters, and this is like a little bit uh, tech diverts. So you can do parallelly, I guess, simultaneously. It doesn't cause a problem.
That's great.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
That's true.
Okay, sir.
Just
Then
ask
we can
management
continue with
whether
whatever you have planned for. Hmm.
just ask management once they can schedule a new CH whenever it's starting. So you on weekdays you can do that, and this on weekends. It will be fine for everybody.
That's
See,
great,
I think
Rashika. Thanks for the input.
Rajshekar, I
Let me
think,
know.
yeah, Rajshekar already took the CH, and I think you have more knowledge on, how we can take the CH and compare with the CCNA, right? So that's true. Whatever you said is that's correct. Parallelly, you can take the CH as well as the CCNA. That will not affect anything. But the thing is, two things you have to learn parallelly. That's the only thing. If you
Yeah,
have the
that I
time,
have
you
to
can,
do.
right. If you have the time, and if you're ready to spend some time on the both technologies, yeah, you go. Or else, just
Yeah,
wait.
because
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah, even in my work, right? I'm into security testing now. So if I take CH, it could help me even in my career. So let's take it parallelly, and so Sandeep, can we can take it whatever you have planned before. So no need to be hurried then.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Sounds good. Sounds good. So this will be helpful for you guys only, not for me, right? You guys have to take the decisions
Yeah, yeah, that's
ultimately.
right.
So that's it. Okay. Fine.
Okay, sir.
Let's
Thank you.
right. Let's start the class. So previous session we discussed about no STP, right? Discussions of what is the purpose of what is span tree, right? Why do we need the span tree? So span tree will occur in case of okay, in case of single point of failure. All right, some couple to avoid the single point of failure, what other does, so they will simply lay the cables, and because of the single cable, it will create the loops that will impact the overall network infrastructure. So this is a drawback, right? So that's the thing we discussed, and also we discussed how the loops will occur, and what else we discussed. So how spanner tree solves the loops, I think this is also discussed. So how it's yeah. So guys, one more question: how STP avoids the loops? You said someone said it prevents the loops, right? How it will avoid? This is my question. Yesterday I covered this as well. I remember.
Based on BPDU, and it finds the root node or something, root I forgot. Based on that, it will disable one link, and
Mm. So for example, if you have the two paths, right? One path will be in the forwarding state, and another part will be in the blocking state.
yes.
So this will be taken care by STP, right? So this is about span tree. So I think I covered these terms. So I think only this is the STP is a very vast topic, so it will take today. So and we can cover rest of the topics very fast, no worries. So this is now what is STP? Okay, so far I just given the overview what is in the STP. Sorry, why STP is used in the networking and then in the L2 technologies, and how the STP will prevent the loops. That's the thing so far we covered, right? Now let's try to understand a bit more what is meant by STP first of all. Okay, so STP stands for Spanning Tree Protocol, was developed to prevent the broadcast storms caused by switching loops. If you see here, I just mentioned the switching loops. I didn't mention the networking layer, or I didn't mention the transport layer. I mentioned all the switching layer. So that means, so this switching will be introduced only in the L2 technologies. So that is in data link layer. Okay, so STP was originally defined in IEEE 802.1d. As switches running STP will build a map or topology of the entire switching network. So STP will definitely, if there are any loops, and then disable or block as many ports as necessary to eliminate all loops in the topology. Right? We already discussed. A block port can be reactivated if another port goes down. This allows STP to maintain redundancy and fault tolerance. Okay. So the main advantage of using STP is to prevent the loops in the L2 technology. What is BPD in STP? Right, yesterday we discussed in order to block, in order to forward the packets on one out of two links, if you want to block one port, if you want to allow the forwarding state on particular link, these BPDs will take a couple of responsibilities. First of all, what is BPD? Switches, STP switches exchanges BPDs to build the topology database. Okay, BPDs are forwarded out all ports every 2 seconds to a dedicated multicast address of 0000. Okay, building the STP topology is a multi-step convergence process. Okay, so during this process, it will involve into 4 steps: alerting the root bridge, root port, designated port, and port are placed in the blocking state as you get to LNM loops. So there will be four steps will be involved to block particular port. Okay, so first one is alerting the open text. Sorry. Sorry, Madhusri, you mentioning about open text.
Sorry, sir. Like, no, we can ignore that.
Okay. Right. What is root bridge first of all? I was telling about, in order to block one particular port in networking concepts, so we have to use STP involves these four kind of process, convergence process. The first one is it will alert the root bridge is elected. Next one is root port is elected. Designated ports are elected or identified, and lastly ports will be blocked as per the to eliminate the loops. Now let's try to understand what is root bridge. Okay. So the root bridge serves as a central reference point for the STP topology. That means, so when out of, for example, we have the 4 switches. Let's take an example. Let's take this example. 2 switches. Have 2 links. Out of 2 switches, right? So let's take a switch A and switch B. So out of 2 switches, between the 2 switches, initially you have to block one port, because here we have the 2 ports, right? We have to block any one of the port. STP needs to block any one of the port. You have to block particular port. STP will follow multi-step convergence process. First one is adding the root bridge. So that means out of 2 switches, one switch will be elected as a root bridge. Let us take this is the switch as a root bridge. How the root bridge is elected? Root bridge equal to MAC address plus priority. What is the priority? To 768. Which has the lowest MAC address and priority will be elected as a root bridge. So in these cases, let's take in priority is 1, and here the priority is 32768. Okay, so MAC address plus priority, we switch here as the lowest MAC address, lowest root bridge ID. So it will be elected as a root bridge. Now first step is done. Okay, now the second step is alerting the root port, right? So root bridge is nothing but it's a central point. It's the king of the entire networking topology. It is switching topology. So out of here, if we have the three switches, okay, this is the king, and remaining switches are the slaves. Root bridge will be acting as a central reference point for the entire switching technology. STP is enabled by default on all Cisco switches for all VLANs, right? Whenever you procure any switches, STP by default will be enabled. So if someone unaccidentally, if someone lays the cable, by default the switches will eliminate the loops. So that's a beauty. So that is the reason we are in this. So STP is only for theoretical part. Nothing will be there for the practical. If you go for interviews, they'll ask you questions only in the STP as a theoretical part only. Now alerting a root bridge. The first step in the STP conversion process is alerting a root bridge, which is the central reference point for the STP topology. Root bridge is alerted based on the bridge ID. Bridge ID consists of bridge priority plus MAC address. The default priority is 3276 and the lowest priority wins. Okay, this is the example which I am giving. Switch here, switch B, switch C. Out of this, which is the lowest? If you see, right, priority 100 is there and MAC address is 001112. So if you see, right, priority 100 is there and the MAC address is 444. So out of these 5 switches, switch here will be added as a root bridge. This is the master. This is the king of entire the switching technology, STP topology. Okay, now alerting as a root bridge. Switches exchanges BPD to perform election process, and the lowest bridge ID determines the root bridge. So this is about which I mentioned. Now the next point is, first one is root bridge is elected. Now second is root port needs to be elected. Root bridge is selected. Now root port needs to be selected. Okay. The second step in the STP convergence process is identify root port. The root port of each switch has the lowest root path cost to get the root bridge. Each switch can only have the one root port. Okay. So the root bridge cannot have the root port, and the purpose of root port is to point the root bridge. So that means, so this is considered as the purpose of root port is to point the root bridge. So let us assume this is the root bridge. These are non-root bridges, right? Non-root bridges. The purpose of root port is to point the root bridge. So this is the root port. And this is also root port. Now root port is selected. The opposite side will be designated port. Root port, the purpose of root port is to point the root bridge. Okay, and root bridge is which has the lowest priority will be acting as a root bridge. So as I said, identify the root port is fine. Now the third step in the STP conversion process is to identify the designated port. As a single designated port is identified for each network segment. This port is responsible for forwarding BPDs and frames to the segment. Okay, so the root bridge will send the BPDs messages to all the switches, because hey guys, I am the master. You have to follow my words, my keywords, right? So this root bridge will send the messages to all the slaves in the form of BPDs. So BPDs will take care of forwarding all the BPDs and frames to the segments. A port can never be a port and designated port and the root port. So this is about root port. Out of this, one port will be elected as a block port. let us assume this port will be allocated as a block port, and whenever the traffic enters, it will come here and will reach the destination. Even if the traffic is trying to reach the other link, since this is a blocked port, all the traffic will be rejected over here. Now the switches doesn't have any alternate path to reach the root bridge. In this way, STP will prevent the loops. Now versions of STP. Normally there are three versions of STP. First one is CST, second one is per VLAN STP, third one is PVST plus. Okay, CST utilizes single STP instance for all VLANs. Okay, and basic STP configuration looks like this. By default, STP will be enabled in all the Cisco switches. Right? If you want to disable STP for temporary, but please keep in mind, guys, don't disable STP in the production network. Always try to enable the STP. No span entry, VLAN number 101. So this will disable the STP in your entire network for this specific VLAN. A range of VLANs can be specified. No span entry VLAN 1 to 4094. Okay, and also you can disable on per port basis. This is interface level, disabling the span entry. Interface behavior no span entry VLAN 101. Now STP states. Before it blocks the port, any one of the port, STP will pass us through 5 states. First one is blocking state, listening. Second is listening. Third is learning. Fourth one is forwarding. Fifth one is disable state. Okay. Initially the switch port will start in the blocking state. By default, when you plug in the switch, it will be in blocking state. Okay. So it will convey the STP will proceed for 30 seconds or 30 to 50 seconds. In this meantime, every port will be calculated. The root port, root bridge, root port, designated port, everything will be calculated. On base of that, one port will be allocated as a root port. One port will be allocated as a designated port, and the remaining port will be allocated as a block ports. Okay. So the first is listening blocking port. After that, BPDS will be listening. BPD, whenever any switch is sending any BPDS, it will listen that, and it will learn that messages, and it will forward the messages to the other switches. So there are 5 steps in the STP. In a similar way, by default, STP has the timers. Okay, as switches running STP access BPDS to build and converges the topology database. There are 3 timers that are crucial to the STP process. First one is hello timer, forward delay timer, maximum age timer. The hello timer determines how often switches send BPDS. By default, BPDS is sent every 2 seconds. The forward delay timer determines how long a port must spend in both learning and listening state. Okay, so by default forward delay is 15 seconds. Because a port must transition through 2 forward delays, the total delay time is 30 seconds. 30 plus 20, the maximum agent time would be 20 seconds. So total 52 seconds will be, in order to block one port, it will take total 50 seconds. Okay, if you want, you can manually adjust these 3 STP timers for a specific VLAN. This is the command: span entry VLAN 101, hello time, forward time, and maximum aging time. Now let's discuss about STP topology changes. Switches exchanges 2 types of BPDS when building and converging the topology database. The first one is configuration BPDS. The second is topology change notifications. Okay, TCN will be sent under 2 circumstances. First one, when a port transition in the forwarding state, when a forwarding or learning port transition to blocking or down state. Okay, if something is happened in the topology, right, in these cases, TCN messages BPDS will be sent across all the switches. Configuration BPDs are used to alert the root bridges, root ports, and designated ports. If any changes happen in the switches, the first thing is alerting the root bridge, right? So this alerting the root bridges, root ports, designated ports. For that one, BPDs will send the messages to each and every switches, right? So for that one, it will uses the configuration BPDs are used to select root bridges, root ports, and designated ports. And the last one is TCN when a port transition to forwarding state. When a topology changes occurs, a switch will send a TCN PPDU out in route port destined for the root bridge. So the TCN contains no information about change. It only indicates that the change is occurred. So whenever you see any configuration PPDUs, then you should be very proactive, and you should check the logs thoroughly. Okay, if you see any TCN messages, then you can ignore. Normally, right, in a normal STP, it will take 30 to 50 seconds to block one port, right? So 50 seconds is very huge time in the normal productions. So that will impact a lot of applications. 50 seconds means, right? So in order to avoid the timers, we can reduce at least the timings from 50 seconds to 15 seconds. So instead of normally STP has 5 states, so we are reducing the states in rabbit spanning tree. So these are the 3 states we're learning: discarding, learning, and forwarding. There is no listening, there is no blocking. Okay, simply if anything, first one is in the discarding state, and learning state or forwarding state. That's it. Last type of spanning tree is MST, that is multiple spanning tree. Multiple spanning tree defines IEEE inner 2.1s, allows a group of VLANs to be mapped to a single STP instance. Right here, per VLAN STP means for each and every VLAN we have single STP, and multiple spanning tree means for group of VLANs we are creating one STP. So that's it about STPs. Any questions, guys, regarding STP?
No, as of now, sir.
Okay. Now let's come to the second topic called VLANs. So I think last time I just given the overview what is my VLAN, right? So anyone has any information, any ideas? Did you recollected that?
Virtual local area network. So, sir, like it's private, collection of like multiple devices or some,
The device logical network is segment into multiple
like an
One
pieces.
or more local
organization.
connected.
Right. So that means for an organization I have the 2 teams. Let's take a 3 teams. Okay. One is network team, cyber security team, cyber team. Third one is server team. Okay. So network team will maintain the sensitive information in the network drives. Cyber team in the similar way, they will perform some penetration test. It will be stored under these repositories, right? And no, server team will maintain the patches, details, everything inside of these reports, right? So if someone is trying to, if one of the user who is trying to access the server repository should deny. In the similar way, cyber security team is trying to access the network information, it has to deny. And the server, if cyber team is trying to access the server information, it should deny. To accomplish these kind of scenarios, we're going to use VLANs. It provides the security. First one is, right? If you want to provide some solutions to provide the securities, isolate the networks. We're going to use VLANs, right? How to create the VLAN? For example, I want to create a network for a network, a VLAN for network. VLAN number 10. Description network. Okay. Now I want to create VLAN for cyber. VLAN 20 for cyber. Description, or you can call it as name, whatever. Cyber. And VLAN 30 for